became a sit there and listen song. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. I shall not be moved. Well, in the 1920s, when a communist-led union organized mills in the South and created for the first time integrated unions, black and white together in the United States, African-American workers brought these songs into the struggle, and they surprised themselves and brought in white voices by changing one word in that song. They changed the I to we. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. That's the chorus. The verse is pretty much the same as the chorus, except it has this this phrase that you zip in and zip out, you know. So originally it was, Jesus is my captain, I shall not be moved. So they would sing, we're fighting for our families, we shall not be moved. We're fighting for our families, we shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not. Okay, you get the idea, right? You can't even stop saying that's great. Now, so you got the basic form. It takes about a minute to get through it, and as long as you can come up with something to replace that, we're fighting for our families, or we'll stand and fight together, you got another 60 seconds of music. And when you're sitting, you know, in a sit-in, or if you're walking a picket line, or if you're marching from Selma to Montgomery, you need long songs. So what the African-American workers brought from their church experiences is how to grow a song. So you sing that 60 seconds, and then you have just vamping, you know, maybe the organ's playing chords, maybe people are clapping to keep the rhythm, but there's basically silence, maybe a little bit of humming in the room, till somebody raises their hand or shouts out a phrase. So think about what it is you're doing tomorrow, why you want to be there, you know. What's a phrase? It'd be great if it fit into we'll stand and fight together. Pardon?
Going will be closed.
Okay, so there you go. So we're off and running, and then while you're singing, you can think about the next phrase. Going will be closed, and we shall not be moved. Going will be closed, we shall not be moved, just like the tree. If you have a phrase, stick your hand up. By the water, we shall not be moved. Shout it out. Peace for everyone, and we shall not be moved. Peace for everyone, and we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. War.
No just war.
Well, okay, you get the idea. I'm not here to give a concert. I'm just here to give you some ideas. Here's another form. It's a little bit, actually, a little bit simpler to work with, and it's a good song. And it's another example of how creativity can really turn a song around. This song goes like this. Somebody prayed for me, had me on their mind, took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad they prayed. I'm so glad they prayed. I'm so glad they prayed for me. And then the form was to replace somebody, you know. My mother prayed for me, had me on her mind, had me on her mind, took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad she prayed. I'm so glad she prayed again. I'm so glad she prayed. One more. I'm so glad she prayed for me. So that would go on forever, you know, my uncle, my aunt, my brother, my sister, my cousin, my friend. But then somebody said, well, how about we stop praying? Why don't we do something else? And so they started changing instead of changing the somebody, they changed the prayed. So it was, how about marched? Somebody marched for me, had me on their mind, took the time to march for me, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad they marched. I'm so glad they marched. I'm so glad they marched for me. Now I want you to be thinking about things that people have done for you in your life to inspire you, to nurture you, to change your life. Somebody sang for me, had me on their mind, took the time to sing for me, and I'm so glad they sang. I'm so glad they sang. I'm so glad they sang for me. Somebody said love. Give me think about what you want to say. Somebody loved me, had me on their mind, took the time to love me. I'm so glad. I'm so glad they love me. I'm so glad they love me. I'm so glad that they love me. What you got? Somebody read to me, had me on their mind, took the time to read to me. I'm so glad they read. I'm so glad they read. I'm so glad they read to me. Well, you get the idea. Somebody cooked for me. I always want to sing, somebody cooked for me. But, so that's a really usable song in a usable form. Chants are by week soup, but chants are great. I'm sure you've been hearing them at the demonstrations. And, those are good, but you're looking more for songs than for chants. In New Haven, Connecticut, the clerical and technical workers organized a union, and a lot of them were cheerleaders in high school. So their union songs were things like, everywhere we go, people want to know who we are, and so we tell them we're the union, mighty, mighty union. So if any of you have any cheerleading experience, those songs were created so large groups of people who have been drinking or just basically aren't very bright can sing on the spot. Those are good models too. You know, writing parodies, if you've got the time, is also a real good political tool, good way to use music. And especially if you pick the right song. When freedom riders were riding through the South in the 1960s trying to integrate the bus lines, they got as far as Jackson, Mississippi, and they got hit very heavy by the police, and they got taken to Parchment Prison, which is a miserable place on a good day. And so they sat there in the prison for months, and they were writing songs. And I thought one of the best ones to come out of it was a song. The thing with a parody is you got to pick a song that everybody knows. So that's like 0 songs anymore, you know, hardly anybody listens to the same music anymore. So you have to go pretty deep in the well. Christmas carols are pretty much a song, a form that everybody knows. Some church songs, some campfire songs, Oh My Darling Clementine, or I've Been Working on the Railroad. Well, they came up with not only a song that everybody knew, but a perfect song to attack. Because at its best, the parody is you take a song and you turn it on its head so that it means just the opposite of what it was meant to mean. So in Parchment Prison, they were singing, oh, we're riding south and we're integrated, new southbound to be created. Look ahead, look ahead, look ahead, Dixieland. No more racist rule by Anglo-Saxon, black and white. We ride on Jackson. Look ahead, look ahead, look ahead, Dixieland. Oh, we're riding south through Dixie. Hooray today for liberty and dignity. We'll integrate all Dixie. Hooray, hooray. We'll soon be free in Dixie. So a good parody will do that.